The closer we do get to the debut of Barcelona's season, the clearer the sporting plan is starting to become. Barcelona are making a lot of decisions, and one of the decisions that Barcelona have recently made is that Vitor Roque may not continue at Barcelona this season, and they will be replacing him with the emerging young striker who is 22 years old, and that is Pau Victor, a player that has impressed through the preseason against Man City, against Real Madrid, and against AC Milan. Later in the video, we're also going to be talking about Barcelona also making another big decision on replacing Faye and bringing back Eric Garcia. Once again, a player who has also impressed not in the preseason but during the Olympics. All of this is going to be talked about for today's video. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm happy that you guys are here. If you guys are Barcelona fans, this will be the channel for you. This is what we do, talk about everything regarding FC Barcelona. And so if you guys are Barcelona fans and you guys are interested in what's going to go on within these next 2 or 3 weeks in the transfer market, make sure you subscribe to this channel and click the alerts button. You don't want to miss a damn thing, because we are going to be covering everything immediately and live on this YouTube channel. And so let's get straight into it, and let's speak about Vitor Roque first. And it says here, according to Sport, that Vitor Roque is expected to leave on loan. A permanent transfer has been ruled out as Barcelona maintain their confidence in him. A loan to a team in La Liga would please all parties. Porto, Lazio, and Napoli are also interested in the player. Tony Juan Martí has also explained Vitor Roque is on the exit ramp in a almost irreversible way. For now, he says no to moving to Saudi Arabia, but in the coming weeks, he will have to find a destination to his liking. So it is quite clear that Vitor Roque did not do enough to impress Hansi Flick during the preseason. Keep in mind, they have spent about 2 to 3 months together already through the summer, because Vitor Roque did not go anywhere. Not in the Copa America, not in the Olympics. He didn't go nowhere but stayed in Barcelona and had a lot of time to train under Hansi Flick. And yet, after so many weeks together, Hansi Flick has made his decision, and he said, you know what, Vitor Roque, you are good, but not good enough yet to be in my team. You're gonna have to go somewhere else, go to another team in La Liga, gain more experience on knowing what it's like to play in this league, and then come back and hopefully you can score 15 to 20 goals. That is basically going to be the whole game plan. Now, I know that many of you guys are new here and you guys have barely begun following Barcelona and this whole Vitor Roque operation. I'm going to give you guys some context so you guys can understand what led to this moment. It all started with the initial expectations, right? A few months ago, the 19-year-old Brazilian striker joined Barcelona with high expectations, and mainly because Barcelona spent 30 million euros on this transfer plus 31 million euros more in potential add-ons. So he's extremely expensive, and many were speculating the reason why Barcelona spent so much money on this player, which could amount to 61 million euros, almost the amount of Nico Williams and Dani Olmo, is because they saw Vitor Roque as a great with high potential type of player. Vitor Roque came in early back in January. He was not supposed to arrive to Barcelona until this summer that we are in right now, but he came early, and that's mainly because Gavi went through a very serious injury that allowed us to register Vitor Roque 6 months before his original date. And under Javi Hernandez, he saw a few games, he saw a few minutes, but it was not enough where he could have made a mark. He scored a couple of goals, he was pressuring, he was doing everything that Javi Hernandez was demanding from him. But as time went by, as we got to March, April, May, Vitor Roque's minutes just continued to decrease, and it did get very hectic, right? Many of the fan base of Barcelona were siding with Vitor Roque, and some were siding with Javi Hernandez. Many wanted Javi Hernandez to leave Barcelona because they were pissed at how they were treating Vitor Roque. So eventually, Javi Hernandez got sacked by Joan Laporta, and the coach that replaced Xavi was Hansi Flick. So this was seen as a brand new, fresh challenge, but only for us to go into the preseason and to see Roque have a very underwhelming preseason. In the friendly match against Manchester City, he played in 45 minutes, touched the ball 17 times, completed 0 passes, and he lost the ball 9 times. He played earlier, even before this match against City, but really struggled against Olot, and it was a team that played in the 4th division. But going back to the game against Man City, he was substituted at halftime, and Pau Victor came in. He took over and performed really well. We all know what happened right after. Pau Victor made a name for himself, and as of now, Pau Victor is ahead of Vitor Roque in Hansi Flick's pecking order. And so I don't know, looking at how Vitor Roque and Pau Victor are so different, it's crazy how it only cost Barcelona 2 to 3 million euros to bring in Pau Victor, and then it cost 61 million euros to bring in Vitor Roque. Sometimes money is not always the answer. I don't know who to blame in terms of this operation. You know, Mateo Lemán and Deco both worked together to bring in Vitor Roque back in the summer of 2023 in July. Deco at the time was one of the agents in the world of football, and he was one of Barcelona's main advisors in the Brazilian market at that time. So could this be seen as Deco's first big mistake at Barcelona? Who knows? We'll see how Vitor Roque's future does pan out. But going back to his performances, I mean, like, Vitor Roque struggled to adapt in Barcelona style for sure, and especially when it comes to the technical side and the link-up play. He played 353 minutes in 14 games last season, scoring 2 goals, but failed to gain the trust under Javi Hernandez. yes, you can see that there were struggles during the last season and in the preseason. And at this point, we can all understand why Vitor Roque would be low in confidence, which is why this could be the reason Hansi Flick is going to be sending Vitor Roque on loan to a different club to gain confidence after what has happened in the past 9 months. So right now, Roque does remain unregistered in La Liga because Barcelona do have financial struggles. His agent, Andre Curry, for sure has expressed a lot of frustration over Roque's playing time. And I believe that he is also another person that is pushing for a loan move so he can have Vitor Roque showcase what he is really worth. And honestly, I do hope and pray that Vitor Roque ends up becoming the player that we all expected him to be, because right now, from a technical standpoint, like, yes, even I can agree after what I have seen, he is really underwhelming. I mean, like, look at these frames here. This was against AC Milan. Vitor Roque receives the ball between the lines. He dribbles the ball forward, but then after like his second touch, that ball goes so far ahead of him, he loses the ball and AC Milan gain possession of the ball. And I'm like, dude, it is a requirement and a standard for every Barcelona player to control the ball well. Vitor Roque's first or second touch is just horrendous. It is horrific. Pau Victor does not have any of that. And that is what's going to lead me towards the current situation of this player and how his future is blossoming. So we do have some very positive, optimistic updates on Pau Victor. And it says here, according to 21 Marty, that Barcelona count on Pau Victor, and even more so after his brutal performances during the USA tour. Right now, he is not registered, but his salary is very moderate, and that helps him. He has high chances of being part of the first team. Then we do have Sport claiming Pau Victor has earned the complete trust of Hansi Flick, surpassing the coach's expectations with his impressive performances. It's not just his goals and assists that have stood out. Pau has captivated the coaching staff with his tactical intelligence, ball control, and strong connection with Lewandowski. His ability to adapt to the wings while maintaining an attacking threat has placed him ahead of Ansu Fati and Vitor Roque in understanding and executing Flick's ideas. Before, when Pau was signed, the plan was to either send him on loan or a transfer with a buyback option. However, this plan has been halted as Flick now wants to keep him as a key part of the team. Pau Victor's versatility, along with his maturity and character, is highly valued by the coaching staff. And I think that that is also what separates Pau from any other striker that Barcelona have in general. He can play on the wings, and he plays on the wings very effectively, and he has a great connection with Lewandowski, a connection that Vitor Roque fails to have with Lewandowski. The amount of times Pau Victor found Lewandowski or Lewandowski found Pau Victor to create goal-scoring chances was immense. With Vitor Roque, everything falls flat, and I think that the reason why this is so important is because Hansi Flick is going to be making Lewandowski as his main striker, right? He is the starter. Lewandowski will not be moved, and he needs players that can complement Lewandowski, and one of those players is Pau Victor, and of course Lamine Yamal. And if you are a player that cannot work with Lewandowski well, you may not be prioritized. And so now I do want to move on towards the next conversation and speak about Eric Garcia, because man, let me tell you, we all thought that Faye was going to be the player that was going to take over after Kubarsi, right? The next great young center back. But it does seem like Hansi Flick has made up his mind, and that is for Eric Garcia to return, and to return with vengeance. So we talked about before on how Eric Garcia just confirmed that he will be staying at Barcelona for the upcoming season. He stated, I will stay at Barcelona and play there next season. It is 100%. So we all knew that, right? But then came a later report earlier today, according to Ferran Correas and Gabriel Sanz, that stated Eric Garcia's decision to stay at Barcelona this season could have significant implications for the squad, particularly for young talent Mika Faye, with Hansi Flick convinced of keeping Eric Garcia as the last option for the center back position. Faye's future at the club now seems uncertain. Meanwhile, both Eric Garcia and fellow Olympic gold medalist Pau Kubarsi are set to return to training with Barcelona today, which they have, of course, having already taken their vacation before the Olympic Games. They are eager to reintegrate with the team. The summer has been monumental for these players, especially for Eric and Pau, who has recently helped Spain secure a thrilling 5-3 victory over host France to win their second ever Olympic title in men's football. The match held at the Parc des Princesses in Paris was one of the greatest in Olympic history, with every twist and turn imaginable. For Eric Garcia, this summer solidifies his place with both the national team and Barcelona as he adds an Olympic gold medal to his resume, complementing his role in Spain's Euro 2024 victory just a month prior. As Barcelona prepares for the upcoming season, Eric Garcia's experience and recent successes could prove invaluable, even as they potentially influence the club's decisions regarding emerging talents like Mikael Faye. So let's talk about that, right? Because look, to me, Eric Garcia is widely regarded as Barcelona's best center backs right now in terms of possession and possession only. And I'll get to that in just a second, right? Because he is known for his ability to quickly identify spaces and also have an impressive passing range, very similar to Kubarsi. And he's also a strong ball carrier. Like, he is that player that you can count on to carry the ball forward and into the final third. So even though clearly he does have some limitations, he is a great player to have in terms of your fourth or fifth fifth option, especially when you are a team under Hansi that likes to play very vertical. You need to be very vertical with your passes. You need to learn how to dribble. You have to be very technical, and you have to learn how to deal with pressure at the back. Can Eric Garcia do that? Oh, yes, of course. Eric Garcia, like I said, has impressed with Girona and also did have an outstanding Olympic tournament. He has returned in great form. He has scored 5 goals, by the way, with Girona. And so because he is becoming so reliable, Barcelona do have a place for him. With Lenglet leaving, most likely to Atletico Madrid, and with Ronald Araujo constantly getting injured over and over again, someone like Eric Garcia can be counted on. Now you may question, but Kevin, don't you think that Eric Garcia is just being overrated? Maybe he is just being loved right now because of what he did recently? Because back then, we did not even want him. Why did we let go of Eric Garcia in the first place last year? Now let's remember, let's pull up a couple of quotes. Back on October 2023, Eric Garcia said a couple of things about his situation, and this is what he stated. I considered to leave at the beginning of the week. I spoke with Xavi and we agreed that I had to stay on Thursday. But then Friday came and I was out. And the reason why he left last year on loan was because of 2 reasons: financial fair play regulations, and point number 2, Eric Garcia wanted to have more minutes. He knew that he was not going to be the first priority and he wanted to be a priority somewhere else. So it was because of a total of 2 reasons. We can also reassure this information by fast forwarding to May 2024, which was 3 months ago, and Xavi Hernandez explained Eric Garcia's departure, and he stated, I wanted him to stay this season. It wasn't our intention to let him go, but he had to go due to fair play. The idea is that he does return and return as fast as possible. We can even pull up Xavi Hernandez speaking about this 10 months ago, and he stated, what do I think about Eric Garcia's departure? No, very simple. He came to me and he told me that he wanted a change in environment that he needed. I tried to convince him by telling him he didn't, and in the end, due to fair play and financial problems, we went ahead with his loan. That's how it went. Very simple. However, I will repeat, I insist that these 3 players like Eric Garcia, Ansu Fati, and Abde, they all came to me personally and asked to leave for various reasons. That's how they felt, and that is what was needed. So it is quite clear that Eric Garcia was good enough to continue at Barcelona, but because of some factors, it is what led towards the loan to Girona, and Eric Garcia impressed. He did not just leave and underperform, right? He's not Ansu Fati. He did not go somewhere else and underperform and look underwhelming and just make the situation worse for himself. No, Eric Garcia left. He went to Girona, competed for La Liga, right? Because at one point, Girona were in 2nd place and right under Real Madrid, and then he went on to win the Olympics with the Spanish national team, and then came back to Barcelona and said, okay, now what? Now what do you guys have for me? Because I have proved that I can be a very reliable center back, and this is the reason why Hansi Flick is making the decision to keep Eric Garcia over Mikael Faye for now. Okay, that is the key word, for now, because Mikael Faye will not leave on a permanent transfer. We're just going to forget about him. I think that Barcelona are going to be approaching Mikael Faye's future in a very similar way to Vitor Roque, which is to send him out on loan, have him become even better, and then hopefully by 1 year from today, he returns in massive form. Now, there is this little debate going on that I do want to get into, and I'm also going to approve of, and that is the fact that Eric Garcia physically does not adapt well with what Hansi Flick does want in his back line. Because let me tell you, Eric Garcia is not the strongest center back in the world. If you were to ask me, who would you have in the back line when you knew that you had to face Kylian Mbappe or a Erling Haaland tomorrow? I would tell you, have Araujo, Koundé, and Christensen at the back. I would literally tell you that, because Eric Garcia, when it comes to 1v1 physical duels, usually Eric Garcia loses in those duels, and sometimes when he knows that he's losing in a specific duel, he makes a horrible mistake that leads towards a penalty or a free kick, right, by hugging one of the players. I don't know about you guys, but yes, I understand that Eric Garcia makes these mistakes, but who was another player that was also very physical that made a mistake in a very similar fashion? That was Ronald Araujo up against PSG, right? So these defenders do make mistakes. I understand why many are not in favor of Eric Garcia, but I think that if you have Eric Garcia training under Hansi, right, a coach that wants all of his players to become strong, right, to become strong, not be strong, but to become strong, Eric Garcia, if he heads towards that direction to become physical, he can become a monster. You put him under the correct trainings, which is to gain more muscle mass, become stronger, become much more of an athlete. Eric Garcia can give you so much more, because right now, just at the time that I'm recording this video, I would admit, in terms of the physicality, right, the pure athletic side, I would choose Mikael Faye over Eric Garcia, because Mikael Faye is far more superior in physical attributes like speed, strength, the height, and the jumping ability. However, Eric Garcia's football intelligence, like ball distribution, tactical awareness, is superior to Mikael Faye. But which one are you going to choose, Garcia or Faye? To Hansi Flick, he's saying, I would choose Garcia because he does have the tactical attributes, and also I can add in the physical quality that he is missing. And so to me, loaning out Mikael Faye and keeping Eric Garcia for 1 season seems like the correct move. Eric Garcia to me would be considered as the 4th option. I would have Koundé on the right back position, Araujo and Christensen as our center back pairings, with Balde on the left back position. Kubarsi can be the player to switch in for either Araujo or Christensen, whoever gets injured first. There can be also also great rotation within those 3 players, and then have Eric Garcia as like the last resort in case a player like Araujo and Christensen do get injured, or if Koundé gets injured and also Christensen does get injured, Eric Garcia can always be there. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.